junkies out there, I invite you to spend some time with me. I'm Johnny Allen, and this is the Johnny Allen Podcast Show. Hey, the show does start now. I'm your host, Johnny Allen. This is the Johnny Allen Podcast / Videocast Show. I hope you guys are doing good out there. Hey, you know, we're surviving the pandemic, right? Or at least I hope you are. I'm doing better with it. I'm kind of getting used to this whole thing. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. It's, you know, pandemic, blah, 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 blah. We know all about it. We know what's going on and all this good stuff. Anyway, welcome to the show today. You can catch me on Facebook under the same Johnny Allen Podcast Show or YouTube Johnny Allen Podcast Show. Hey, listen, I've tried a few of these, like I said, editing programs out. I'm going to go with Filmora. There you go. I said it, Filmora. I did a little thing about the other one, Camtasia. Liked the way they did things, but at the very end, like I said, they wanted to control your YouTube channel, third party. Not about somebody controlling my stuff. I'm sorry. Can't do it. So, if you like Camtasia, that's great, but can't do it. Anyway, if you got your coffee out, we're talking about everyday life situations. Get the coffee out now. As you notice, and it's a coincidence, guys. This really is a coincidence. I got the Mackinac t-shirt on, and I got the Grand Hotel Mackinac Island. Now, that was not planned. Seriously, was not planned. I had this on earlier today, and then I just got the Grand Hotel mug out. How cool is that? If you've never been to the Grand Hotel Mackinac Island, go check out Mackinac Island. Go through the Grand Hotel. It's awesome. As soon as the pandemic's over and you start traveling again, you feel good about traveling, go to Mackinac when everything opens up. Really did enjoy it up there. It was really, really great. So anyway, we talk about everyday life situations. We get our coffee out like this. We take a swig of the coffee. And then I tell you what kind of coffee I'm drinking, which today, which I think is going to be just about all the time now. I endorse my good buddy Tim up there in Lansing, Michigan. There you go. www.shopdieselcoffee.com. Some of the best stuff. He's got new beans coming in. He tells you what he's getting in. He shares it. He's got a really nice website. Get on that website, www.shopdieselcoffee.com. Seriously, if you're a coffee drinker, you're seriously going to love this stuff. He's got a lot of great reviews. And, I mean, I've tried it myself. And I'm not a BSer, guys. I got to try it out. I'll try the product out. If I like it, I endorse it. If I don't, I don't. Like I said, Camtasia, you can't do it for editing software for your videos because they want third-party control. They let you go through all this stuff, and then at the very end, you try to share it on your YouTube channel, and they say, guess what? Hey, we're not going to put it up there unless you waiver your rights so we can get in there and manipulate your YouTube channel. No, not doing that. Not doing that, but Diesel Coffee now, the real deal. Real deal, okay? www.shopdieselcoffee.com. It is good stuff. It really is. Thank you, Tim. And speaking of Tim, I got to give him kudos up there. He had actually shared the podcast, one of my podcasts, on his Facebook sites or whatever. But I thank you, Tim. I thank you for that a lot. I mean, the little history between Tim and I used to work with him. He was a co-worker several years ago. Became friends with him, good acquaintances anyway. And I really liked him. A good person, great human being, right? And I kept contact with him. He moved up to Michigan. He's always kind of exploring his own entrepreneurish businesses and everything. And he stumbled across this one, started Diesel Up. I'm not sure how long ago it was, maybe a year. If Tim's watching, maybe he can comment. But anyway, he's got a good product up there. Diesel Coffee Company. Great stuff. Great stuff. Anyway, how was your Memorial Day weekend? Mine was pretty good. It was different, right? I live in Indianapolis. Like I said, no 500-mile race. That was a little different. The weather was fantastic, good, a little hot, but it was good. And I'll get into that for a second. But anyway, had a little cookout, smoked the ribs again. Go figure, right? Johnny Allen smoking ribs. Never do that, right? Anybody that knows me knows I smoke ribs a lot. But they turned out really good this time, a little bit better than the last time. So anyway, I did the smoking thing. It was nice. It was the wife and I and the stepson came over. We did a nice gathering outside, social distance. Everything was good. Of course, I said we didn't have the race. The race didn't run this year, the Indianapolis 500. But I tell you what I did to kind of make up for that. Got the old computer out, laptop, set it up with the speakers, got a good old YouTube, and YouTube the 1969 running. Watched the whole race from 1969. That was the year Mario Andretti won. So we went back in time. We did some vintage racing. It was kind of cool. Still had the same vibe. We watched that for a little bit, then we skipped up to the 2013 race. It was neat. Well, of course, it wasn't the same as being there, right? But what they did locally is they ran last year's race. It's just like, okay, that's fine. You ran last year's race, but that was just last year. I ran some classic races, man, and dug into the history of the track, and that's what I did. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let me know if you guys had a nice Memorial Day. Comment below. And another thing I got on my notes, on my talking points. Are you guys back to work? The ones that have been out of work, are you going back to work yet? I know a few people that I know, they start going back to work. They were working from home, and now they're heading back. So any thoughts on that? If you've been home, working from home, did you go back to work? Have you not? Comment below. We just want to know what's going on. We're just sharing conversations, guys. Another drink of coffee, another drink of diesel. Hey, there you go. Grand Hotel. Nice place. You know, this is where they filmed back in time. You know, that was with Christopher Reeves back in and somewhere in time. Somewhere in time. Back in time. But I don't know. You know, Johnny Allen sometimes gets a little confused with these things. Anyway, Somewhere in Time. Very good movie. Romantic kind of movie. You know, Jane Seymour and Christopher Reeve, rather, rest his soul. It was shot back in the 70s. They filmed it up there in Mackinac Island. And it was really neat. But if you get a chance, get up there. So, are you back to work? What'd you do on Memorial Day? Did you watch reruns of the old races? I did. It was cool. You know, like I said, some of my friends and neighbors and stuff, they're going back to work this week. Some of them are glad to be going back to work, even the ones that were working from home. Some of them are still a little bit kind of shook up about it. But you know what? We got to get used to this new normal, and that's what it is. That's all it is. New normal. I was a little freaked out about it. I still take on the precautions. But, you know, life's not sitting still. I mean, we got to keep going and moving. And I've even talked to some of my band buddies with the Crossroads Saints anyway, and we're going to start making efforts to get back, rehearse, and get in the studio here real soon. We're doing it safely, and, you know, it's just the way it is. I noticed, too, my hat's a little crooked. Here we go. Straighten that up a little bit. You guys didn't tell me that. All right. You know, it's all about my gorgeous face on this podcast, right? You guys know I'm just kidding, right? You know I'm kidding. I hope you're having a great time, great life, and everything's going good. All right, the third talking point I'd like to discuss with you guys today, we'll talk about something a little bit different. Do you feel that some of your closest family members and friends even sometimes put you on the back burner? Now, I'll repeat that again. Do you feel like some of your closest family and friends, people that you're close to, put you on the back burner? And you're thinking, okay, well, what do you mean by that, John? What do you mean by that? Do you think that, okay, here's what I mean by that. Sometimes when you're doing something like, for instance, like my podcast, right? Actually, there's strangers that love it more than some of my, you know, people that are close to me, right? At least I feel that way. And my brother and I discussed this before. You can't be a hero in your backyard kind of thing. Do you ever feel that way? So, like, you might have a product out there, like say, listen, we'll use Diesel as an example, right? Diesel Coffee. Tim owns, you know, runs that coffee company up there. We'll just say, and I don't know this for sure. This is, you know, hypothetical. We'll just say that Tim has this coffee company, right? And him and I are friends, but we're not like super close. Not like we chat every day and all this stuff. We're just, you know, work acquaintances, and we stay in contact. I love his coffee. I endorse it and stuff like that. You just wonder if there's any close friends or family who's like, you know, Tim's coffee's okay, but it great. I like his other coffee better. You know, I like Maxwell House better than this. You know, just and kind of downplay and don't really support some of your closest people around you. Don't 100% support what you're doing. Just comment below on that. And my brother says, well, it's because you can never be a hero in your backyard, John. And I believe him on that because, you know, I'll do this podcast and other things, and it may not be as exciting to some that are real close to you than somebody else's thing that they're doing. They're more glued in on that. It's like, you know, hello, I'm doing this over here. How about this? And they're like, oh, but this one over here, you know, I want to watch this one instead. It's okay. I just can't get into it. Or whatever. No matter what it is, you know. Do you ever have that experience? It's just a thought. It is stuff that I observe on a daily basis or something like that. Or even like at the workplace. Could you really be like kicking butt at work and stuff, and some people not so much? And, I've talked about this before in the past. And it's like you hardly get recognized, and they can do anything. And it's like, oh, yeah, so-so did this and this, that. And you're over here like bust your butt like, what about me? Hello. Do you ever get that? Comment below. That's just kind of funny. Something that I just thought of. And like I said, it's a talking point. Feel like you ever get put on the back burner around the ones that are close, because maybe they see you every day. Maybe it's a spouse. Maybe it's a close friend or relative or something. Co-worker that's real close. And it's just like whatever you're doing, whatever, that kind of thing. Do you ever get that? I'm really interested. Comment below on that. And then, like I said, got complete strangers I don't know stop me quite a bit. They'll see me out on the street, or maybe some of my coworkers that I don't really know really well. Said, hey, we looked at your podcast the other day. We really like it. We really like what you're talking about. It's positive and blah, blah, blah. Get a lot of kudos, and I appreciate that. Everybody appreciates kudos, right? Everybody likes a little pat on the back or shoulder or whatever. Back of the head, top of the head, cheek. And people like that. And, and it just seems like with me, it's been like this forever, that strangers, with the exception of my mother, she's the only exception, she'll support almost anything I do. God love her, and some of it I know is bad, but she still loves it anyway, But really, any friends or just acquaintances, rather, will support. I really like what you're doing. And like I said, the ones that are really close to you, maybe, they just kind of like put a blinder on and forget you're there. Do you ever get that? Comment below. It's kind of cool. All right, my next talking point, guys, I have. Okay. I touched a little bit last week about the UFO thing. And this is kind of interesting. I know we're just totally switching gears, but that's what I do. That's why you got to follow me, because I'll jump from one subject to the next. Because, you got to keep it spontaneous. Okay, so we're talking about the UFO thing. Okay, you guys know what UFOs are. I talked a little bit about that, like I said, last week. Now, interesting enough, I've been watching some shows, and even in some of the news broadcasts, or networks rather, lately, have had little bitty articles about tying the UFO sightings and the plague together. And I was kind of kidding around about that. And I've heard things on the outside about how, there's been UFOs sighted, and then all of a sudden there's this worldwide plague. Well, dig this. I guess that we've had plagues in the past, right? We had the Spanish flu, and there's been many plagues. There's been a recorded history that, and that's not me saying this, is some of the news. I forget who it was. I think it was maybe, I think it might have even been like Wall Street Journal. Well, anyway, one of them said a little clip about how sightings of UFOs have been up a little bit more. And then, after the sightings were observed, a few weeks later, a pandemic broke out. People would see UFOs, then later a pandemic broke out. And in history, there's been recorded history of that happening. And I was thinking, what? And then people are saying, UFOs are bringing the viruses and the pandemics and trying to, thin or get rid of the, human population. And I kind of kidded about that, talked about tinfoil and all that stuff. But then this week, man, there he was. Boom. If I find the article, I'll share the link maybe next week. But UFOs and plagues, are they connected? Are aliens bringing us plagues? That sounds really crazy. But I guess like I said, recorded history, people reported flying saucers and unidentified flying objects flying around. And then weeks later, a month later, all of a sudden we got a big plague. Just food for thought. Could they go hand in hand? Could be. You never know, right? Anyway, well, again, thanks for liking and subscribing. Thanks again to the current subscribers. I picked up a couple more on the YouTube side. Thank you so much. Facebook side, you guys are doing great. Hey, how's life, guys? How's life? Okay, we're going to skip to weather. Tell me how your life is. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully we're doing good through all this stuff. I do like to keep positive. Like I said, a couple folks stopped me and said, what we like most about your podcast, Johnny, is you stay really positive about everything. And I try to. I have my moments where I'm kind of down and I get disturbed about what's going on in the world, right? Like everybody else. But I do try to keep positive for the most part. So I appreciate you guys saying that to me. I really do. And I do appreciate the current subscribers and the new ones. I just want to, I want to have a drink. Let's have a toast to you guys. Thank you so much. Even if it's just one or two people comment saying, hey, really like this, it makes me feel good as a person. Who doesn't want to, feel good in a time like now? What's going on, especially. But anyway, I'm going to talk about the weather. So I talked about, that's the next talking point, weather. Okay. So I talked a couple weeks ago, I've been talking about, hey, when is Indiana going to have summertime, right? It's been cold. Be careful what you wish for, because it hit 90 degrees on Saturday and Sunday. 90. Hot and humid. And I mean, 3 weeks ago, it snowed in some places up north. It had frost. We had heavy frost just like a week or so ago. Week and a half ago, and it was 90 degrees. It's been 87 degrees all week this week. Now, tomorrow's supposed to cool down. We got a cool front coming. 80 degrees, though. 87, high 80s. So like I said, be careful what you wish for, And here's my other point, too, with this whole thing. The mysteries of the world, right? This has been happening a lot for the last 4 or 5 years. You guys comment below, and if you agree with me or don't agree with me. It's been jumping from winter to summertime in Indiana. We really don't have a spring anymore. We really don't have a fall. It'll jump from winter to summer, winter to summer, winter to summer. It's like the seasons in between spring and fall are like non-existent anymore. Comment below what you think. People say, well, it's global warming, John. It's global warming. Global warming. Here's something else I found out about global warming. You guys comment below. This scientist, actually on a TV show, a very smart guy. African-American guy, not that matters, but he's an African-American gentleman. Very, very intelligent. Respect him very much. I'll get the links and put these guys below next week on my podcast. Anyway, he had said that he had an interview with this gal on the show that I watch quite often. And they talked about global warming. And he says there's global warming going on in the whole solar system and even beyond. That Mars is heating up. All these planets are heating up. It's not just ours. And I'm not saying that we're not affecting it in some way with pollution and stuff. I'm sure we are, right? I'm sure there is some greenhouse effects happening. I'm not saying that's not happening. But here's the thing that's really happening. It's heating up all over. The whole thing is heating up. And he says the reason why is because it's the magnetic shifting and poling from the sun, which is causing magnetic shifting and pole changing on all these planets, including ours. He said that the airlines actually had to revamp their navigation systems in their airports on the runways, because the runways from the Earth positioning shifting has changed the actual where the runways are. If they point north to south, it's slightly maybe not so north, not due north. Anyway, it was really interesting stuff. And so we've had a polar shift, and you don't really realize it. And I guess this polar shift is actually causing like health problems and everything else. So we blame a lot of this stuff that's happening that's not so good on this planet on man, which I get that. We're doing a lot of stuff that is not good. I've gone over that and may go over that in a future podcast. But it's interesting to know that there's other planets that are getting warm. So you shouldn't call it global warming. You should call it solar system warming. Because it's the whole solar system. Even Jupiter is warming up. I guess he said every planet is slightly warming up. He said Mars is really warming up. It's compared to what it was. Okay. Interesting. Comment below on that. So is it the magnetic shifting going on with the sun, with the planets, with this planet in particular that we're talking about, is causing our weird extreme weathers? And that's what he talks about. And I will link that next week. That whole show, I'll link it. You guys watch it. Very interesting. All right, so we got away from that. We're going to number 7 talking point. We're already number 7, guys. Remember, before I go any further, really go up there and get on the website, get on your smartphone, and order some shopdieselcoffee.com, www.shopdieselcoffee.com. He's got more than just this one. He's got several different brands of flavors. You can get it roasted, non-roasted. You can get it ground, non-ground. I suggest get whole bean. It's nice to grind it before you drink it. It's just fresher that way. Okay, number 7 talking point. Are you guys getting tired of the same SOS? And you know what I mean, right? Trying to keep this channel halfway clean. Same old cow manure. Or manure, okay? I'm saying. Okay. From some of the folks, from the same old folks. And the reason why I say that, and I'm laughing out loud. I even got LOL on my notes, okay? Are you getting tired of the same old doggy poopy and poopy in general? Same old stuff and the same old people. Whether it be at work or wherever. Complaining about the same old, every day, whether it's political or not, usually political. Do you just get tired of hearing that broken record of the same old whining and complaining and whining and complaining every day? Every day. Comment below. I know I do. There's a certain couple people that, that's all they talk about every day is the same old stuff. Same old stuff. Anyway, tired of the same old SOS. I'd like to thank Tim again, which I did, for the podcast. Okay, let's see. Let's skip to number 9 because I already thanked Tim. Talking points. Oh, I talked about, the video editing program. I didn't like that. You guys already know about that. Just didn't like that. Anyway, I'm going to skip over and talk about this one. Got about 9 minutes left. Guys, comment below on anything I'm talking about today. How you doing with the modern day situation with the pandemic? I think things are getting a little bit better. I think some people are a little less responsible for. Oh, I know what. I got to ask you guys this question, okay, with the pandemic. Okay. You can just put mask thumbs up, mask thumbs down. Mask thumbs up, mask thumbs down. Or you can say yay or nay to a mask. Okay. Do you feel like we need to wear a mask everywhere for this pandemic now? Do you feel like people really need to wear them? Does it protect you more? Or do you feel like it's just like, hey, let's just go for it. It's a crapshoot. I'm going to get it or not get it. Mask ain't doing much for me anyway, blah, blah, blah. You don't believe in the mask. Comment below because that's a big, that is a big hotbed of discussion right now, especially at work, whether we need to wear a mask or not. Okay, it's mandatory for us to wear a mask at work. Where I work at a hospital, okay. Do you feel better about wearing a mask? I do. I do. I feel a little bit better wearing a mask. Is it a pain in the ass? To say it mildly, yes, it is. It's a pain in my rear. Actually, it's a pain in my face because I can't breathe. And so a mask could be uncomfortable, right? And you're constant, okay. But do I feel better about wearing one? I do. Is it going to protect me more? I believe somewhat. Here's Johnny Allen's thought on the mask. I feel like it protects you 40% more than if you didn't wear one at all. You're thinking, 40%, John. That's less than half. Yes, it's less than half. It's 10% less than half, 40%. I feel like the mask will protect you 40%. I'm not talking about the N95s. Just talking about the regular procedure mask. N95 may protect you 70%, 75%. But my brother and I had a discussion the other day. He works in healthcare as well. A mask is not going to protect you 100% against the virus, period. It's not going to do it. I don't care what kind of mask you have on. Basically, you have to have a scuba suit or an astronaut suit. Seriously, to keep the virus totally out and away from you, protected. Well, simply all the mask does is block a lot of the viruses. Kind of helps keep some of the viruses blocked out. If someone's spitting and, you got that stuff coming, it'll kind of help protect and block some of that out than if you didn't have anything at all. The way I compare it is like if you're sitting on a hot seat, like say it's hot outside in the summertime, you sit down on one of those bench park seats or something like that. The difference is if you sit down on a hot park seat, if you're naked or not naked. Okay, if you're naked, you're going to feel it real quick. It's going to burn your ass, right? If you got some clothes on, you're still going to feel it, but it's not burning as bad. Basically what the mask is. Guys, comment below and let me know what you think about that scenario there. I just gave an example of. But, really, seriously, it'll block out a lot of the viruses. And what makes you sick is you get bombarded by a bunch of viruses and you have a weak immune system. So anyway, mask or not mask. I really feel like the social distancing is the best thing because you stay away, distance, it's keeping it blocked. Okay. The distance traveling thing is not going to travel as far. Another thing I like to add to the corona thing real quick, like I said, mask or no mask, comment below. I'm anxious to see doing a survey. And the last thing about the coronavirus is, like even today, I get news reports every day and emails every day about the COVID-19. All right, so the newest one is like, okay, everybody's freaked out about being on services. Okay, it can be on services, and at first they were like, oh, it's on services, you're going to get it. It can last for weeks, days, months, whatever. And everybody's like wiping everything down, gas pumps down, everything, and it's super paranoid. I was one of those. Now they're finding out that you can get it, like from surface touching surfaces, but the chances are they say now are a lot less likely that you'll get it than they thought before. So just interesting. The saga keeps changing all the time, right? Like I said, I think mask if you're in a close area and you work in a high risk area like I do in a hospital, nursing home, grocery store, something like that. I think you should do the mask thing for a while. If you're out in a park and you're away from people, I'm not talking up close, but you're way, way away from people, I don't think a mask is really so much necessary. But if you feel good, wear it. I feel like if you feel good about it, wear it. What the hell. All right, the last thing is I talked to one of my good buddies I haven't talked to in a long, long time. I'm going to end on this note. This goes for relationships, and I just thought this was funny. And I take no credit for this. This all goes to Mark, and he knows who I'm talking about. My good buddy Mark. Yeah, good guy. He had some relationship issues with his girlfriend. People do. They have relationship issues. Everybody does, right? And basically, he told me their relationship together became routine. He used this word, his words, not mine. Mark gets all the credit for this. Routine maintenance relationship. Routine maintenance relationship. I said, Mark, I love that. I said, you might be using that on the podcast. He says, no, go right ahead. He said they got into a routine maintenance relationship. I like that. Routine maintenance relationship. So if you want your relationship to be fresh, don't let it become a routine maintenance relationship. That's the advice from me, and I got to thank Mark for that. Can't wait to get together and start playing a little music with the guys. Because, if you're a musician, you can identify. If you're an artist, you can identify. Because get it, I get it, and I'm kind of introverted a little bit. I don't mind hanging out by myself for a while. I don't mind doing things by myself. But you do need your social time. And the one thing about the COVID-19, obviously, is that we've been on a lockdown for quite a while. 3 months. I couldn't imagine being locked down for years. Just couldn't survive it. Even the beard's kind of growing a little bit again. You're growing out there a little bit. So anyway, another drink of coffee. If you've never been to Mackinac Island, get up there and see the Grand Hotel when all this stuff gets back to normal-ish. And it's weird, like I said, coincidence, guys. I had the Mackinac t-shirt on, and I grabbed that. How cool is that, right? It's all about Mackinac Island today. Thanks again for liking and subscribing to the Johnny Allen Podcast show, the videocast show. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to the new subscribers. Thanks to the commenters. I have a lot of fun on Friday eves, doing this little thing for 30 minutes, and love to share with you guys. You guys take care this weekend. And like I say every week, the Lord willing, I'll be back next week. We may even have a guest on. You never know. It's going to happen here pretty soon. You guys are wondering where the guest were, and all of a sudden, boom, one will pop up. And like, oh, wow, he's got one today. Okay. I'd like to thank a lot of people. Sandy, Connie, Chris, Tim, Mark, Monty, Bill, Woody, just to name a few. There's so many. Just take care, everybody. And like I said, next week we'll see you, and we'll talk about something else.